Oops, let's see. I'm gonna have a little technical difficulty if I don't press some buttons. So I'll press the Ferris wheel, which we'll talk about today. Good morning, day 3 of Deep Dive. I will never forget, at least I don't think I'll ever forget, coaching a group of 5th and 6th graders in a school. In fact, this school had hired me 3 years in a row. The first year I worked with their staff on a professional development day, and they brought me in a second year. That second year I worked with their whole staff, and I worked with their oldest students. It was a K-8 school, so I worked with their 7th and 8th graders. And then the next year they said, okay, we want you to work with the staff and we want you to work with the whole school except for the kindergartners. So we broke it up into classes: 1st, 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then I will never forget working with the 5th and 6th graders and teaching them pressure free. Then this girl raises her hand and she goes, Mrs. Ingalls, I know girls who are faking anxiety to get attention. And something in my heart just went, it like cracked or something. I was just like, oh my goodness. So these girls want attention, and they're seeing that their friends who actually have issues with anxiety are getting a lot of attention. So they're faking it because they want to be seen. That is just so sad to me. And it really got me thinking, the mechanisms behind all that and the reasons behind all that. And then we can move into cutting, and we can move into other things where people are just need someone to see them. They need to be heard. They need to be seen. That they'll go to the lengths of actually faking something to be seen. So I just wanted to bring that forward because I think it's anxiety is real. Fear is real. Feeling nervous about things is real. We are going to feel emotions. And some people ask me, like, well, it's pressure free. Am I going to just be a Stepford wife, like our Stepford child or husband, just walking around with a plastic smile on my face all day? Not at all. You're going to feel all the emotions that you still experience in your days, but you're going to not overreact. It's the overreaction that keeps us locked in the stress cycle and locked in anxiety. So we're going to do a few things today with this. The first, I get my little notes here. I want to make sure I stay on track here for this session with you. We're going to focus on what is anxiety? What is it really? When does it start? Episodic, chronic. So we'll talk about anxiety first and how stress is involved, the stress response, the physiology of your body is involved with anxiety. Then we'll go targets, triggers, tools. We'll lay the pressure-free method over specifically anxiety. And I'm going to give you some tools specifically to help you if you feel anxious, or if someone that you love has a lot of anxiety. You can share this with them. And then we'll have a homework assignment. So day 3, here we go. What is anxiety? We didn't use that word so much when I was growing up. You would say, oh, I feel nervous about something, or I'm worried about something. It was definitely more an episodic type thing. Secret, I don't know how many people I've ever told this to, but I started experiencing some anxiety. I think it was about 2nd, 3rd grade. I had really, really long hair, like all the way down my back. And my mother, every morning, she would take my hair and she would brush it all out. I sat on this little stool. She did my hair every morning, and then she would bring like sections of it, braid it, sometimes bring it all back and do these elaborate braids. My mom did my hair every morning before I went to school. And I started scratching my forehead, like right in the scalp area, right in here. I started scratching it. It was like a habit, like biting your nails. I never bit my nails. I came up here and I would scratch. And I would scratch so hard that it would bleed. So then I would have like these little scabs in my forehead here. And I know it was worrying my mother, who was trained as a social worker. Like she knew so much about psychology and social work and all of that. And then another thing started happening. I started getting headaches. So she took me to the eye doctor and to see if it was something to do with my eyes causing the headaches. And what the eye doctor said was that it wasn't nothing wrong with my eyes. What it was he thought it was the weight of my hair. And because it was always like back in something, but the weight of my hair was pulling. So there was something about this area, something about the pulling. So right before my birthday, my mother chopped all my hair off into a pixie. And I cried for a very long time. I just remember being miserable for days because my mother cut all my beautiful hair off. And I had this short, tiny little hairdo. But the headaches went away. And then the scratching went away. So that was kind of interesting. And I bring it forward because you may see things going on in your child or in yourself that are these little habits. Maybe you bite your nails. Maybe you come here. Maybe you bite the cuticles. Or maybe you binge eat. You come here for comfort. We come to our mouths for comfort. Maybe you bite the side of your mouth. Or my sister used to go, she would suck this little area here. It was like a comfort thing. Come here for comfort. I'm going to have a tool for that for you. But we're trying to help ourselves when we start to feel anxious. So what is anxiety really? Part of your anxiety is caused by the biology of the stress response. This was a key for one of my clients. She was a teen in high school who had basically been in chronic anxiety for about 2 years. When I met with her, she basically hadn't felt good in 2 years, very anxious. And she tried all kinds of things. Nothing was working. And her dad was a friend of mine. And he said, I think I'd like to have you come work with my daughter. So we meet for the first session. And the first session is free, by the way. If you don't know that about me, at least right now it's still free because I just really want to give that to you. It's a gift. And I want to see if pressure free is right for you. Maybe you need deeper therapy. Maybe you need both. So we can assess that when we talk. So I meet with her. And at one point, I was asking her about her dreams and goals for her life. She's like, I want to be a graphic artist. I want to do this. I want to move to California, like all these great things. And then she got very quiet and she looked at me and her eyes got a little full and she goes, honestly, Elle, I just want to feel happier. I just want to feel happier. So maybe that's you or someone you love. They just want to feel happier. If you've been in chronic anxiety, not so much episodic, my anxiety when I was little, I think it was just like episodic, and then it started to move into some chronic, and then it just disappeared. So if this is chronic for you, you can feel so stuck. You will even say, my anxiety. You'll claim it. You won't just say, my symptoms of anxiety, or the symptoms of anxiety I'm experiencing. You like claim the anxiety as you. And so that's what was happening with this young woman. So when she said that to me, that's what I really focused on, this idea of how can she feel happy again? So as we're moving into the first page session together, I deeply share everything I know. And I've done a lot of research on this. In fact, I was working with 10 psychologists once, and I was sharing the particular session with them, and I got to one point, I go, well, you guys already know this. And they go, actually, we don't. So I teach, my expertise is on fight or flight, on the stress response so deeply that I have so much to share with physicians, psychologists, therapists, which is why I have a certification program to now teach people this so they can use it in their practices, or teachers, anybody who helps other people, parents even. So anyway, I'm doing the first session with this teenager, and I get to this point where I explain, and this is so important for you. If you don't know this could be such a key for you. So the stress response, the first thing that happens is a flood of hormones goes out, catecholamines, the cocktail, adrenaline being the big one. So you have a lot of energy. You may even be addicted to adrenaline. I know I was. I thought I was superwoman and could super multitask because I had all this adrenaline running through me. But adrenaline is a serious drug with a lot of side effects, and it seriously affects your brain. So that flood goes out. But then later, the glucocorticoids go out to fix the brain cells that you've damaged or weakened in the first flood of hormones and your extremities. Your hands are cold, your feet are cold. We talked about that the other day if you're on this session, this series with me. So when the second flood goes out, it can make you feel anxious for no reason. That's one of the side effects of cortisol. It can make you feel anxious for no reason, and it's your wake-up drug. So you're not sleeping well, because if you're anxious about something and you release these hormones, the glucocorticoids are going to go out like 2, 3 a.m. and you're wide awake. We talked about sleep earlier this week. So is this making sense? Like, do you really get this? So immediately she said to me, oh, I get it. If I don't trigger the first flood of hormones, the second flood doesn't go out. I'm like, yes. So about half of the time that you feel anxious, that you have anxiety going on, about half of the time is simply biological. That is huge to know. Because honestly, I have people say to me, so you're telling me I'm not crazy? Like my brain isn't really broken? Like, no, it's just that your biology is causing you to have this symptom, this side effect, if you will, because the glucocorticoids are doing a good job. They're getting the salt, sugar, and water content of your cells, your neurons, back to normal so they can power up, so the fat can do its work. Your brain is mostly fat. So do you see how this can work? If I can help you not release the adrenaline flood, the cocktail at the beginning, then the second flood doesn't go out. So you're going to not only be able to break the stress cycle, but you're going to have the ability to choose your responses to everything that happens to you. Now we're human. Sometimes we're going to go under the line. I certainly have. But then you can be gentle with yourself to get yourself back on track. The other thing that will seep in, which is why I've built my entire courses for people and my private coaching with people, you'll have a lot of doubt. If you've been in anxiety for a long time, it's very easy to doubt that this will even work for you. You've also been conditioned by media, by therapists, by psychologists, by so many people in an old mental health model, which I believe we need to break. I don't think the mental health model that we have in our society today is working very well. And I can really say this because I have so many people who've been in therapy for years and they're still anxious. They haven't broken the anxiety. They've tried all kinds of medications. They've tried all kinds of things. They've done due diligence, everything they can. They meditate, they pray. I can't tell you how many yoga teachers I have coached that you would think the yoga teacher who is immersed in their yoga wouldn't be so stressed, but they are. It's stressful to own a studio, be an entrepreneur as a yoga teacher, or teach classes and not get paid very much for them. Like there's a lot of stress around that. So all of those things are good for you, by the way. Prayer, meditation, going, exercising, all those things are good for you. But if you don't break the stress response, you'll still have some anxiety. You'll still have some feelings that are not resolved. The other thing that often happens is that I'm going to take being in therapy and sharing your feelings and what's going on for you. If you go back to things that have happened in your childhood, when you go into fight or flight, one of the things that happens is you're no longer lodging memory correctly. So whatever happened to you in that traumatic episode is already a corrupted memory in your brain. Then every time the story comes back in, you feel it come in, that looping. I've had horrible things happen in my life, you guys, horrible. We all have. We've all had traumatic things because your trauma, whatever you've had, is yours. And someone else may judge it, but for you, it was awful. So whatever you have in there, when it starts to loop up again, you'll trigger fight or flight from the memory, just thinking about it. And now your brain is going to actually corrupt the second memory. So every time the story comes up into your head, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Yesterday, I talked about how you're a great fiction writer, right? You're a great fiction writer. And when your brain is in fight or flight, it creates magnificently horrible fictions sometimes, those negative fake worries, right? So all of that is going down, which means by the time you get to adulthood, you've spun that story so many times in your mind. My story about when I almost drowned and almost burned, like, I wish I could go back in time and actually see it. Like, I see it from my eyes there, but what actually went down? There was a big reason why all of that went down, a secret reason that I only share with certain clients when it feels appropriate. Okay, I'm not going to share it here because it's just too nasty. Okay, so there was a reason for all of that going down. To truly break how these anxious feelings work on you, we need to break the stress cycle. That's the key. So targets, triggers, tools. Targets. What are you aiming for? When that young woman I was working with said, I just want to feel happier, that was her breakthrough moment with a target. So maybe your target isn't like, it could be, I need to make this much money so I can, do this and this and this. So why would you want to feel happier? So that, I shared that from Gary Barnes, who was just on my conference with me. So that is a beautiful 2 words that you can add to any of these targets so you get deeper on it. I want to feel happier so I have better friendships. I want to feel happier so that I sleep really well. I want to feel happier so that my dad isn't so worried about me, or my mom isn't so worried about me, or my teachers aren't so worried about me. I want to feel happier because I want to run and skip through life. So why do you want to feel happier? What other feelings do you want? So many of my clients say to me, I want to feel more confident. One mom said to me, I don't just want, I need to be more in control of my emotions for my kids. So why do you want to feel happier? What is it that you want to feel? Confidence, calmer, more in control of your emotions. This is important. So targets aren't just tangible things, they're emotions and feelings. And when you can write down some of those targets, we can really get to this knot of anxiety for you. So targets, triggers. You need to take some time on this. It's really a lifetime process, to be honest. I'm 12 years into using Pressure Free and still understanding some little things that work on me. So it is a lifelong process. Take a piece of paper and write out what actually causes you to feel anxious. Is it a person? Is it a tone of voice? Is it because every day you wake up and there's this pressure that you need to perform at a stellar, in a stellar way today? Like, what is it that causes you to feel anxiety? I'm just going to focus on anxiety. There are all these other emotions I teach about, but that's the chief one. What makes you feel worried? Who makes you feel worried? Many times it's the people who love you the most that cause you the most anxiety. And they don't mean to. They're doing the best they can. So no blaming here. Or there can't be any blaming and shaming. We got to let that go. And it's time to put on your own bootstraps, right? Like, bootstrap yourself up here. You can do this. It's not that hard. You've got your target. Now you've got you notice what triggers you, what makes you feel anxious. And so you could have a really long list, and I want you to just circle the main 3. The ones that are really habitual, like maybe every day, just circle the 3. We're going to start with 3 to work on. Step 3, tools. Tools and the 10-second solution. From a resting heart rate, you've got about 10 seconds before that adrenaline rush will go out that plunges you into fight or flight. 10 seconds is plenty of time for you to use a simple way to interrupt that flood of hormones. And if you stay free of that first flood of hormones, the second flood will not go out. Now, I say this is easy, but you are so complex. You've got so many memories and habits of reaction, and they're generations old because you imitated. You've imitated people. Those girls I mentioned at the top of this hour or this half hour together, they're imitating what the girls who are actually anxious so that they're getting attention. But if they imitate that, they're going to start triggering fight or flight and actually feel a ton of anxiety, because it's imitation that gets us to actually create the mechanisms that release the stress hormones. Does that make sense? So anxiety is actually not hereditary. Yes, you might have some predispositions to some things in your brain, but it is a learned behavior, and you started learning when you were in utero, when you were inside your mom. Because if she got nervous, if she was chain smoking, if she reacted to loud voices or whatever, you reacted too. So that's a whole other talk. But let's get to some tools for you. So the Ferris wheel is such an important tool. The Ferris wheel is when you're getting out of the hamster wheel. Most of us are running in the hamster wheel. We're tired and exhausted and anxious, right? I want you to get out of the Ferris hamster wheel, turn it into a pretty little Ferris wheel, and don't worry if you have ride anxiety, we are not getting on. You're just pushing it. Now, the reason I have you push this Ferris wheel is because it's a gross motor motion, a big motion. And gross motor motions are one of the only ways an adult can quickly retrain their brain. It creates new neural pathways very quickly for you. It did it when you were a kid too, which is why being on recess, playground, gym, music, big things that move the body. Oh my gosh, playing violin moves the body. You know, you got to move your body a lot when you're a kid growing, because that's how your cortex grows, through gross motor motion. So that's why school, we need to change it, man. We really do. So gross motor motion here. Now your brain can retrain quickly. It's a silly thing to do, so hopefully you will smile, which releases a little bit of dopamine. Dopamine is the key neurotransmitter for your whole cortex and your hippocampus, all your cognitive functioning, executive functioning, willpower, and thinking and remembering to work. So if you smile just a little bit when you press the silly Ferris wheel, you keep dopamine flowing. Plus, do it with me. Go ahead and push up, push up. Now leave your arms up there and bring them down, but don't change your ribs. And you'll notice that you elevated your posture. I gained a couple inches on the screen. When you elevate that posture and open up your chest, you can breathe better. It's also a signal to your brain that you are okay. Because when we go into fight or flight, we usually coil up and tighten. But when you go like this, you just opened yourself up. Plus, it's like you're up and over the problem, so you can now solve it. My violin students for years, like they're playing along great, and then they make a mistake and they go, oh crap. It's like all the energy goes down into the floor instead of out to the audience. And they're what I call under the line. Like their energy is under the line. So I'd often just say to them, no, it's fine. We can fix this mistake. Stay up, smile, stay up and over the line. It's like this line that comes out from our chest, stay up. Now we can look at the problem and solve it. My father-in-law was an engineer. In fact, he created turbines. He has had patents for many turbines that are in all the planes today. And he and I were chatting one day, and he said, you need to be a technology above what you're working on in order to truly solve. That's what's happening here. It's like you're getting your body, physically getting your body up so that you can look at this situation and solve it. But if you're down in the muck, it feels impossible, which is why chronic anxiety, everything can feel impossible. Friendships, work, fun feels impossible. Like everything can just feel impossible because you're so stuck in the muck. I want to get you unstuck of the muck. You don't belong in the muck. Okay, you don't belong there. You can run over it and you can have fun in it, but you don't need to live in it. So many people are unnecessarily suffering from anxiety, so unnecessarily suffering, because no one's ever taught them how to break the stress cycle. That is the key. I had one of a brand new person I just met. We're having another talk next week. She wants to connect me to all these women executives. She's like, oh my gosh, we all need this. She goes, why don't middle schoolers all learn this? You can think of some people right now, and I'm going to mention one. I'm going to go to Sandy Hook for a moment. I'm going to go a little longer here, and then I'll pop off for my Zoom people. I want to go to Sandy Hook for a moment, and I'm going to go to Adam Lanza. If you've never watched the Frontline program on Adam Lanza and his mother, it is really worth watching, because there was a lot of fake news that came out of that story, particularly about the mother. When I saw the mother's maiden name, and first of all, the family was originally from New Hampshire before they moved to Connecticut. I'm from New Hampshire. When I saw the mother's name, I thought, oh, she's French Canadian. She has French Canadian roots. I'm really into ancestry because there are 2 adoptions in my family. I was able to find my biological ancestors, which is really pretty cool, and even some living relatives, one of whom I've now created a friendship. It's so beautiful. But anyway, I'm like, oh, that name, let me just take a look. And sure enough, in like the 1600s, not just one family, but a few families, Adam Lanza's mother and I are related. Is that insane? Isn't that crazy? So then I thought about this boy, okay? And reading and watching that Frontline video, you can find it on YouTube. It was just, I've watched it a couple times. It's really, really important to watch and good if you care about the well-being of children and what's going on today and why we have so many unhappy children. You know, this is going to get worse if we don't intervene right now and help young children get over their anxieties, because it just gets worse. It just gets worse. If you are a parent and you have a child who's experiencing anxiety, you got to get in pressure-free right now, or at least go to my book, Pressure-Free Parenting, and start to get a handle on your own anxieties so that you can then help your child. Just like when you're on the airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first and then you can assist. If you're not living pressure-free, there's almost no way your children will be able to. I mean, I work with kids who they just look and they're like, you need to work with my dad. You need to work with my mom. I'm like, only if they want to. I can't force them to come work with me. But my teenage clients, they're like, they are so much more emotionally resilient than their parents, because they learn this, they use it, and it changes their life. So I really love working with whole families, because then something magical starts to happen. So we have some work to do. I got a little homework for you. My homeworks are pretty easy. In addition to the sheet, we're going to list out your triggers and identify the top 3. I want you, this is one more tool for you that I want to give you. This tool is to write down 3 things that are about gratitude for you. So when you start to feel anxious about something, you can go right to these 3 things to open up and relax a little bit. And they're the basics. It's like, if you get my parenting book, I do a whole section in the book on the hierarchy of needs, okay? We're gonna go to the very basic needs. When you start to feel anxious, most of our anxiety today is about high-level expectations, not fitting in, a lot of social things, a lot of things that are in the higher part of the hierarchy. So here's this is me, actually. I was going through a really tough time, and I would lie in my bed. I'm like, I have a roof over my house. I have a roof over me right now, and my children, my husband, and it doesn't leak. I have food in the fridge so we can eat. I have people who love me, who care about me. So it's like 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 gratitude things. I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head that doesn't leak. I'm so grateful I have some food in the fridge that we can eat. And I'm so grateful that there's somebody who cares and loves me, cares about me and loves me. Now, if in this moment you feel like nobody cares about you and loves you, I want you to use me. I care about you. If you're watching this, you are somehow connected to me. I care about you and I love you and I support you, because we all need somebody in our court. And when you're in anxiety, it can feel like no one is in your court because you're almost afraid to let people in because you might corrupt them. I've heard this so many times from people. It makes me so sad. So people don't reach out because they're afraid that their darkness will affect that other person. So reach out to a healthy brain. There are a few people who talk about this. One is Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich. Dr. Amen, I am a Dr. Amen certified brain health coach. So Dr. Amen talks about this. You need to hang out with a healthy brain. A healthy brain can help and assist you. But oftentimes we'll hang out with people whose brains are like similarly thinking the way we do, because we are looking for empathy and sympathy. I'm going longer this morning. I just have to, because I need to bring this forward right now. I do not believe, this is a strong belief, it's deep in my faith foundation, that empathy and sympathy actually help people. Now you're may throw me out right now, but here's why. Here's what I see. First of all, if someone's going through something, let's just take something so basic. When you were a little kid and you skinned your knee, someone went like this. Oh, let's go get a Band-Aid and bucurachrome. Anybody, bucurachrome, whatever that was, this little stuff they would paint on your boo-boo when I was in the 60s, right? Oh, now it's Neosporin or whatever. Oh, the face was tight. The actions were tight. There was like quick action to try and help you with your boo-boo. Maybe you had a parent that was more cavalier, was like, oh, you'll be fine. And you just get up and you kept playing. But a lot of people got the tension. Oh, sweetie, oh, I'm so sorry. I was working with 4 nurses once, and one of the nurses had broken or sprained her ankle, and it was like huge. She was very overweight. She was carrying a ton of weight. So this was like really, her ankle was really huge. And they all went like this. Oh my gosh, did you get a second MRI? They were all hovering over her with all this tense energy. And I couldn't help myself. I go, stop. I go, that tight energy, that empathy, sympathy, I'm sympathizing with you. Did the doctor tell you? Like all this stuff, that's not helpful. That is not going to help her heal her ankle at all. What does is pure, beautiful, streaming atomic energy. I teach this deep in my course. I go deep on this stuff. That starts with you. So if you have someone who's in the tension, and first of all, misery doesn't just love company, it demands it. You will get tight. You will get tight too. And now that tension is causing more darkness. So instead of empathizing and sympathizing, it's really, really important to be a rock, to have your mental state be beautiful. So when you can provide a beautiful, safe place, you can cry with the person, you can have emotion going there, but it's not tense. It's not tense. Here's the other thing I see. When someone will say to me, I'm very empathetic, I understand people. Here's what I see. Not necessarily. You're placing your own emotional code onto someone else, and they may think very differently. So it's really interesting. Again, the whole key is if you're in fight or flight or not. You can't really see or hear another human if you've triggered the stress response. So if you have a lot of anxiety, then you're not really hearing or seeing other people. You can't, because in fight or flight, we're vulnerable and we're just trying to protect ourselves. That's why you might feel like your feelings about something are, I don't even have a word for it. I don't have a word for what I'm trying to say right now. So I hope this is making sense. Let's just get right back to homework. So kind of 2 pieces. Write out your trigger list, circle the 3 main ones, and start using your Ferris wheel. Start going to your 3 things of gratitude every time you start to feel anxious. Every time, but especially focused on those 3 that you find are quite habitual. And see if you can start to just break that stress cycle a little bit. And when you press the Ferris wheel, if you still feel your face turn red or you still feel jittery, or whatever symptoms you experience in fight or flight, I want you to still celebrate because you notice the trigger, and the next time that trigger comes, you'll stand a better chance of breaking it. So we've gone a little over. I hope this has been helpful to you. I just don't want to see people suffer so much anymore. I'm so tired of going to my newsfeed and seeing huge articles. I put a couple on my feed here in my post that I just made earlier, over and over and over again about mental health, athletes. I'm so tired of all those posts because it's so unnecessary. If people can learn how to break the stress cycle, their anxiety, it's not that they won't feel worried or nervous or anxious sometimes, but they won't trigger fight or flight. And that's the whole key to a healthy mental state, to a healthy physical state. So your body and mind can perform well in everything you do, and you diminish all that chronic illness, both mental and physical. Wow, I think I'm kind of on fire. That's because I'm about to work with a whole bunch of people today. I'm so excited for the people that I'm going to be talking with today. And then I just had 2 people message me. So just private message me if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to learn this, or I want to know, go deeper. I want that free talk with Elle. Just talk with me while I can still do it for free. Because I'm going to imagine like in a year with the way Pressure Free is growing, I won't be able to do it for free. I won't. But I'm also training other people now to be able to teach Pressure Free to others. So that's pretty cool too. I wish you a great Pressure Free day. Tomorrow, what is our deep dive tomorrow? Let's see. I have little notes here. Do I have the note that tells me? Yeah. Tomorrow, our deep dive. Oh, good one. It's on self-sabotage. So we're going to talk about the ways to break self-sabotage tomorrow. I hope you have a great Pressure Free day. Bye.